Welcome back, Eagles fans, because this week on the field was an absolute roller coaster. And there is so much to unpack about what went down from the very first whistle. The energy was intense, and it became clear that this game would be defined by moments of brilliance and frustration in equal measure. The defense, without question, carried a massive load, and it was a spectacle to watch every time the offense faltered. The defensive squad stepped up, displaying the kind of grit and relentless energy that gives hope to anyone rooting for this team. Jordan Davis was everywhere, constantly disrupting the line and making it nearly impossible for the opposing quarterback to find any rhythm. His relentless pursuit, tackling for loss at crucial moments, set a tone that the Eagles' defense would not be broken no matter the circumstances. Meanwhile, Marcus S. brought consistency and intensity to the coverage, giving the secondary a sense of confidence that allowed them to stay aggressive while limiting mistakes. Cooper Dean was a standout in the middle, holding his ground and snagging every ball thrown near him, providing a rock-solid anchor for the unit. Adoree Jackson's performance was electric, with a key interception that ignited the defense and changed the momentum at the perfect time. You could see him reading the quarterback's intentions, moving into position with precision, and making a play that reminded everyone just how dynamic he can be at his best. Byron Young finally showed flashes of the pass-rushing dominance that has been anticipated all season, and Nolan Smith contributed one of his most refined performances, blending athleticism with intelligence in a way that made a difference when the game hung in the balance. The defensive strategy was executed brilliantly, even when the offense struggled to maintain control. 5 turnovers in a single matchup could have easily spelled disaster, yet the adjustments, schemes, and mental toughness displayed by the defensive squad kept the team competitive and in striking distance throughout the game. Make no mistake, this was a defensive showcase. And for anyone watching, the heart, discipline, and skill on that side of the ball were impossible to ignore. Turning to the offensive side, it was a very different story, one that left fans shaking their heads in disbelief. Saquon Barkley continued to shine, putting up over 100 yards and reminding everyone that when the running game clicks, it can sustain drives and keep the team in contention. Yet beyond his efforts, the offense faced serious struggles. A.J. Brown had flashes of brilliance, but suffered a crucial drop in the end zone, a moment that perfectly symbolized the inconsistency that plagued the unit. The quarterback position, in particular, became a point of frustration. Jalen Hurts endured a night to forget, with multiple turnovers, including a critical interception, a forced fumble, and even a lost fumble in a single drive. Watching these sequences unfold was painful because the talent is undeniably present, but consistency and decision-making under pressure were simply not there. Every turnover, every misread, every failed play compounded into a situation where the offense could never truly find its rhythm or build momentum. The offensive line struggled to provide stability, with missed assignments, penalties, and lapses in protection leading to breakdowns across the field. Jordan Matta faced too many penalties, Cam Jurgens was overpowered at times, and Tyler Stain could not consistently protect the edge. These struggles forced skilled players into high-pressure situations, resulting in turnovers and missed opportunities that the team simply could not afford. Devontae Smith showed glimpses of skill, making a few difficult catches, but he could not consistently separate or demand attention from the defense, and the overall passing game suffered as a result. Despite these offensive woes, the running game offered a glimmer of hope. Whenever the Eagles committed to running the ball, it yielded positive yards and helped control the clock, keeping them in the game. Kellen Moore deserves recognition for adjusting the game plan and capitalizing on what was working, even if the overall result was still underwhelming. 19 points on the scoreboard is becoming a worrying trend, reflecting systemic issues beyond effort or desire. Execution, communication, and cohesion need attention, and the recurring mistakes highlight areas that will demand a hard look during the off-season. Morale was visibly affected by the string of errors. The team and fans alike felt the frustration of seeing opportunities slip away due to forced plays, miscommunications, and simple mistakes that could have changed the game. Jalen Hurts was not solely to blame, as the play calling at times was inconsistent, oscillating between overly aggressive choices and passive sequences that failed to adjust to the flow of the game. This created a dynamic where even moments of individual brilliance were overshadowed by breakdowns in cohesion and execution, leaving the team vulnerable and the fans exasperated. The defensive highlights cannot be overstated. Jordan Davis, Marcus S. Cooper Dean, Adoree Jackson, Byron Young, and Nolan Smith each delivered moments that reminded everyone of the potential on this roster. Their ability to create turnovers, pressure the quarterback, and maintain discipline on the field provided hope for the future. Yet, no matter how exceptional the defense played, the team cannot rely solely on one unit. Wins require balance, and right now, that balance is off. The offense's inability to protect the quarterback, sustain drives, and capitalize on scoring opportunities undermine the defensive efforts and left fans questioning whether the talent on this roster is being fully utilized. As the season progresses deeper into December, every game carries enormous significance. The Eagles stand at 8 wins and 5 losses, a record that means every misstep could jeopardize playoff hopes. The disparity between defensive success and offensive inconsistency is stark, and the team must find a way to synchronize all units if they hope to compete at the highest level. The flashes of brilliance are evident, the talent is undeniable, but execution, accountability, and smart adjustments are what will determine if this roster can truly reach its potential. Every position group had moments of impact, yet errors and miscommunications kept the team from translating those flashes into points. Jalen Hurts struggles under pressure. A.J. Brown's drop in the end zone, Devontae Smith's missed opportunities, and the offensive line's lapses combined to create scenarios where potential points were repeatedly left on the field. Meanwhile, the defense rose to the occasion, making game-changing plays and demonstrating the resilience and skill that define this team's core strengths. This juxtaposition of defensive excellence against offensive struggles perfectly illustrates the challenges the Eagles face. Talent is present, effort is evident, but without consistent execution, mistakes continue to define outcomes. The team's season sits at a pivotal moment. The defense delivers hope and proves the team can compete when disciplined and focused. The offense, however, must rise to the occasion. Balance, execution, and accountability across all units are essential for playoff success. The challenges are visible, but so is the path forward. Adjustments in strategy, smart quarterback decisions, and cohesive execution are the keys to unlocking the roster's full potential. The Eagles' journey this season continues to be a roller coaster, with the defense offering glimpses of greatness, while the offense struggles to maintain consistency, leaving fans hanging between moments of exhilaration and waves of frustration as the season moves deeper into December. The pressure on the Eagles is undeniable. Every game is a pivotal test of talent, strategy, and mental toughness. The team has shown flashes of brilliance, no question about that. But the inconsistency continues to loom large, and it's becoming increasingly clear that every misstep can have serious consequences for playoff positioning. Watching this team on the field is a study in contrasts. The defense continues to play with relentless energy and discipline, while the offense struggles to find a rhythm and maintain momentum. Jordan Davis remains a force to be reckoned with, constantly disrupting plays in the backfield and applying pressure that can change the trajectory of a drive. His ability to penetrate the line and force hurried decisions from opposing quarterbacks has been a constant highlight, and his performance sets an example for the rest of the defensive squad. Marcus S. and Cooper Dean continue to anchor the secondary with consistency and poise, limiting big plays and providing a sense of security that allows the front seven to attack aggressively. Adoree Jackson has shown a knack for seizing crucial moments, with interceptions and key tackles that swing momentum when it matters most. And Byron Young has demonstrated glimpses of the pass-rushing prowess that could become a defining weapon for the team. Nolan Smith continues to grow in his role, combining athleticism with awareness, and the linebacking corps has done a remarkable job containing opposing running games, forcing offenses into uncomfortable situations, and allowing the Eagles' defensive scheme to dominate. Yet, despite the defensive brilliance, the offense has been a constant source of frustration. Jalen Hurts' inconsistency under pressure remains a central concern, with mental errors and forced throws undermining drives and keeping points off the board. Watching him struggle to read defenses, make accurate decisions, and maintain composure has been difficult, particularly when the talent around him is undeniable. The quarterback's struggles are compounded by an offensive line that continues to face challenges in protection and execution. Jordan Matta, Cam Jurgens, and Tyler Stain have all had moments where missed blocks and penalties led directly to turnovers or stalled drives, creating situations where even the most talented receivers are unable to make an impact. A.J. Brown's end zone drop is just one example of how a single misstep can shift momentum. and exacerbate frustrations on the offensive side of the ball. Devontae Smith's inability to consistently separate from defenders has also limited opportunities, making it harder for the passing game to establish itself and forcing the team to rely heavily on Saquon Barkley, as always, has been a bright spot. His ability to gain yards after contact, read blocks, and sustain drives provides a foundation for the offense. But even his efforts cannot fully compensate for the repeated errors and lack of cohesion. Elsewhere, the running game works best when fully integrated into a balanced offensive strategy. But far too often, it has been used as a reactive tool rather than a consistent weapon. The adjustments made to lean on the run during key moments were smart, but they did not come early enough, or with sufficient frequency to swing the scoreboard in the Eagles' favor. Meanwhile, play calling has continued to draw scrutiny, as the balance between aggression and patience has not always been properly managed. Attempts to force passes into tight coverage or create big plays without considering game context have often backfired, highlighting a need for smarter situational awareness in decision-making at the coaching level. The interplay between quarterback decision-making, line protection, and strategic planning is critical, and the gaps in this coordination are what have led to so many costly mistakes throughout the season. The mental and emotional toll of these struggles is visible. Players' frustration grows with each missed opportunity, and confidence can waver under repeated pressure. Even the defense, while excelling in execution, is affected when they are forced to remain on the field longer due to offensive inefficiencies. Fatigue becomes a factor and mistakes can creep in, creating a ripple effect that underscores just how interconnected each unit is. The Eagles' season, at this point, feels like a constant balancing act between defensive dominance and offensive adversity. Every play, every decision, every misstep matters exponentially more, because the margin for error is shrinking as the playoffs approach. Looking forward, it is clear that adjustments must be made. The offensive line must improve in protection and assignment execution to give Jalen Hurts the time and space needed to make smart decisions. The quarterback must learn to balance aggression with patience, reading defenses accurately and understanding the timing and rhythm of each play. Receivers need to consistently create separation and execute under pressure, while the coaching staff must adapt play calling in real time, using both the running and passing games effectively to keep defenses off balance. The defensive unit, while strong, must continue its high level of play to mitigate the offensive struggles. But relying solely on one side of the ball cannot sustain wins over the long term. The team has undeniable talent across all positions, but unlocking that potential requires cohesion, discipline, and execution on every snap. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments and let's talk birds. The corridors outside the visitors' locker room were still buzzing when a low, persistent murmur began to spread. Howie Roseman had sent a message. No cameras caught it directly. No microphones were close enough. But those who passed by insist the Eagles' general manager looked unusually sharp-edged after the complicated matchup against the Chargers. People close to the scene describe Roseman moving with the kind of determined stride that usually precedes roster shaking. He didn't raise his voice, but the tone, they say, was unmistakable, pointed, clipped, the kind that makes assistants glance at each other before pretending they didn't. Someone swears they heard him mention standards. Another claims he muttered something about urgency. And a third insists he simply stared at a staffer long enough to make the message clear, without saying anything at all. Inside the locker room, players appeared to sense that something had shifted. A couple of veterans exchanged those half smiles that aren't really smiles. Younger guys kept their heads down, answering questions with the careful precision of people who know every syllable might be replayed back at them. One person described the atmosphere as tense but productive, the kind that suggests the front office is expecting more and expecting it quickly. What exactly Roseman meant with his remarks remains part of the mystery. Was it a push for sharper execution, a warning that competition for certain spots might get real, or simply Roseman being Roseman, setting the tone in the only way he knows? No one inside the building is saying much, but the whispers haven't stopped. If anything, they're growing louder, gaining enough momentum that by the time the team left the stadium, the narrative had already taken on a life of its own. The GM spoke, and everyone felt it. That's a wrap. From FlyEaglesFly News, if you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.